Hey guys, what's up? It's Brittany here with Midwest Performance, and today we are talking to Sam about the charity Rahabs Daughters.
We're Midwest Performance. We're on a mission to empower women around the world to take action and work hard to make a physical impact in their lives. In this very saturated fitness industry, there's tons of competition, but the opportunities are incredible. We'll cover the most common challenges in the fitness world and invite guests to the show that have learned to overcome them and share their strategies with you. This is the Coffee with MP show.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Brittany. Like I said, we're talking today with Sam from Rahabs Daughters. Welcome to the show, Sam. We're so excited to have you.
I'm so happy to be here.
It's great to have you. So I want to talk a little bit about how you got here. So in the month of November, we did what we called the check-in for charity. And what we did is we did an application process, and we allowed our women to kind of apply for the charity that they thought we should give to in the month. And so we got tons of applications, and a lot of them were great, but this one really stood out to us. And one of the reasons that it stood out to us is because we are a fitness studio for women, and we really wanted to work with a charity that was really focused and geared towards women and the empowerment of them in life, because that's really what we stand for here, is being a woman that's empowered to change your life for the better. And I think that's really kind of what Rahabs Daughters is. So the check-in for charity went so amazing. We had over 500 check-ins to Midwest Performance for Rahabs Daughters in the month of November. We gave 50 cents per check-in. We ended up raising $250 for you guys.
Awesome.
And it was such an honor.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. And it was such an honor to be able to do that. So what I want you to do, Sam, is I want you to tell our viewers a little bit about Rahabs Daughters and what you do for the charity and the organization.
Sure. So I'm one of the founders of Rahabs Daughters, and I'm a survivor of human trafficking. So it's very personal to me. We started as a 501c3 about 4 years ago because there was a real shortage of housing and treatment plans for women who'd been trafficked. And we were realizing that the problem out here in the suburbs is much bigger than people think.
Wow, okay.
And so what we were finding was that there were no other charities in Illinois that would keep women and their kids together.
Oh, okay.
So if you were trafficked, you would have to give your kids up to get treatment, right?
Wow,
and
okay.
so we said we don't believe in this. It doesn't empower women, and frankly, I wouldn't give up my kid to get treatment. So then you're stuck in a very nasty cycle. So we decided to, do something about that. And then we also realized that there was a lot of minors at risk. And so we do a lot of prevention activity, because prevention's a lot better than cure, for sure, right?
Yeah, for
sure.
So
that's sort of, so we have about 120 girls in our books right now. We have safe houses here in the northwest suburbs in Indiana, and we're just opening in Atlanta.
Wow, that's awesome.
And we do a lot of work around the Super Bowls.
Okay.
So we take a team to Super Bowl every year, and we rescue. So this year at Super Bowl in Minneapolis, we actually had 43 rescues.
Wow. Now that's really intriguing. So is that a place that trafficking happens a lot, like during the Super Bowl?
So I personally was trafficked at Super Bowl. That's why it's really important to me.
Okay.
This idea that boys will be boys, which I just find ridiculous, because we're essentially saying that they don't have the brains to make a choice.
Right.
Doesn't that make them weaker, not stronger?
Yeah.
I don't know too many men who want to be thought of that way. So
That doesn't
I'm
make any
confused
sense.
about the boys will be boys thing.
Right.
But I'll put that to aside for a minute. What we find at not just Super Bowl, but big sporting events in general, is that there's an uptick. On average, it's 15% higher in that city when there is a sporting event going on.
Okay.
Super Bowl is particularly higher because you're bringing in such a large number of people, but it's true for the Olympics, it's true for any sort of large sporting event, right? And so and that's why I thought it was really cool that a gym would want to do something like this, because it's like, there's so much interconnectivity between how this is done. And so we rescue and then we rehabilitate. And so, we're really big on education. We're really big on looking at the person holistically. That's so mind, body, soul sort of thing, and figuring out ways. So, a lot of our women, they don't get to choose what they wear or what they eat or when they sleep or where they sleep or other things like that. And so what we try to do is teach them to feel empowered. So one of the first things we do is we have like a place that they can go and choose their own wardrobe.
Wow.
So for many of them, it's the first time.
Yeah, and that can be an amazing experience
Exactly.
for somebody like that.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And we teach them like good meal planning and how to like feed their family on a healthy meal plan on a budget, right? Obviously.
Yep.
And cooking skills and things like so just basic life
stuff.
skills. Yeah. We give them, so we're a faith-based organization, so there's a faith-based aspect to the way that we do our treatment plans and stuff like that. And we believe in trauma-informed care. So yeah, there's just a lot of different moving parts.
That's really cool. I think that to know that there's an organization like that out there that really does empower women to kind of start over and gives them the opportunity to really have a really awesome life is so amazing. And I think you guys are teaching them so many things that we take for granted. You know, it's the little things that we take for granted in life that there are so many women out there that are living without.
Exactly.
In a situation that they feel like they can't get out of. So it's so great to know that there is a place that they can go or people they can reach out to get out of those terrible situations and to really move forward in their life, no matter what their age is, no matter what they look like, no matter their demographic, their race, their color. It doesn't matter, they have help. And I think that's so awesome. And I think that's why you guys pair so well with us, is because we feel like it's the same way here. Like people who are in a weight loss journey or who've really struggled with the highs and lows of that kind of a journey throughout their whole life, whether it's been eating disorders or food addictions or, you know, the rat races of fad diets, they get to come here and really kind of start over again and really get the pieces of things that they need to really live a healthy lifestyle, mind, body, and soul, essentially. So I think that that's why we pair so well together.
Absolutely.
Is that there is that empowerment sense. So I want to talk a little bit about this community, this area. Is there, you said that there is quite a bit of activity here in this, even in the Schaumburg area.
Absolutely.
Does it grow year over year, do you feel like?
Unfortunately, it has been. Illinois is number 5 on the list of worst cities for human trafficking.
That's
so
crazy.
Chicago's number 5 worst city in the United States for human trafficking.
Okay.
And I heard we might make number 3 next year.
Wow.
Not that that's a positive thing.
No, not at all.
So it's a pretty challenging situation.
Yeah.
In Illinois, the average age of entry into trafficking is 12 for a girl and 11 for a boy.
God, that's so young. That's like a baby.
And that's the challenge, because in this area, we live in the northwest suburbs, and there's a lot of 2-parent working families and a lot of folks who have a lot going on in their lives, and they don't necessarily notice that we've had a lot of transplants who are moved around for their jobs and or their parents' jobs and stuff like that, and they're not connected to the community. And that's why it's so great that you have a community here that people can connect to, because they can find some place to have support. But a lot of people, when they don't have that support system, it's very easy for them to fall prey. And people, so we have 2 main demographics in this area: the kids, and then moms going through divorce.
Wow,
so
really?
Moms going through divorce are very vulnerable because a lot of times their spouses have cut them off financially, and they have a lifestyle that their kids are used to, and they're not sure how to deal with that. And so they're offered, naked maid cleaning services or different things like that, or clean your house in your underwear online and people will watch you and subscribe to your channel kind of thing. And they start there because it seems harmless, right? And they're not.
And it just gets worse.
And it just gets worse. And then they end up blackmailed, and they end up in doing things that they didn't think that they would do, and they're in a mess way over their heads.
That's terrible. I think that I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because I think this is an issue that gets kind of swept under the rug sometimes, because it's a tough topic to talk about, and it can be an uncomfortable topic to talk about, but I feel like it's an important topic to talk about, because that I would have never guessed that that's where it started, ever. I would have never guessed that. And it's so sad. It breaks my heart to know that there are women out there who feel like that's the only thing that they can do to sustain their lifestyle, you know, that they feel so defeated and so just down that the only thing that they have to do left is to sell themselves or put themselves in situations like that are just not good. So I think that I'm so glad that we're doing this, and we're definitely going to be sharing this a lot, because just to know that outside of our doors this is going on to not only adults but children is just scary.
Exactly.
So I want to talk a little bit about maybe, if you probably get this a lot, but would you be willing to share your story with us?
Sure,
if you could just share.
absolutely.
I think that would bring a little bit of light to how this can happen to an ordinary person. So if you want to share that, that would be awesome.
I mean, I was a teenager, and I was having a typical existential teenage crises. And, you know, I grew up in a middle class home, you know, 2 working parents, great parents, but, you know, every home has its own challenges. And I decided that the only thing left for me to do was to leave. And so I did. And I was your typical human trafficking statistic. Within 48 hours of leaving my home, I had already been trafficked.
Really?
And for me, I went to a shelter, and the shelter gave me some job options, and one of the women said, hey, you know, I have an idea for you. There's this nightclub, and if you would like to, you know, go, I'm sure they'll give you a job. And so I went, and sure enough, they hired me on the spot. Probably should have been my first clue, but you know, and so that night I started working at the door, taking cover charges, right? So I had never seen past the reception, right? Because why would I?
Right, you're at the door.
I'm at the door, yeah. So then at the end of the night, they say to me, well, there's something wrong with the take. Would you come upstairs so we can figure it out? Go upstairs, and all too late figure out that this is in fact not a nightclub, right? But then it's too late. I'm stuck here. I'm trapped. And for me, it was threatening to hurt my family, right? And I didn't even think I could go home anyway.
Right.
So
because you'd already left.
Because I already left. Then on top of that, I felt like, well, we can't have them hurt either.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, and this is typical of the coercion. When you're talking about a teenage girl, she doesn't have good rational sense, right? And so it's very easy for them to become, and it was super easy for me. You know, and I was stuck there for many months, and even when I finally got out of that one, I managed to let myself be trafficked 3 more times.
Wow.
The average number of times a woman will be trafficked after the first time is 7 to 12 times before they make a change, because they feel, and I felt, useless.
Yeah.
Dirty, disgusting, impossible to make anything good out of. And for me, I would wish to die all the time. So it would be like, you know, who cares what happens to me as long as my family's okay, and, you know, I'm sort of, and it took a long time to process through that, because the amount of PTSD, and it's very complex, the trauma, right? And if you're raped that many times, it just becomes, you know, a difficult situation. People are always like, well, I mean, you had a great family, you could have gone home, you could have. I didn't think that I could.
The normal person would say that you could have gone home. In your own mind, all of these stories are playing out in your own head, and they're so real and so raw for you that nobody else could ever understand, like the things that are going on up here. So it's always so easy for people to say you could have, but you're like, no,
but no. And also you have a trafficker who tells you every day that the only reason you're alive is because they're allowing it, and the only reason that you can do these things is if you do them for them, and you just feel like, okay, that's it, that's all I have. And if you don't do it their way, then they're beating you and, you know, basically degrading you. And so, and the things that you're asked to do are not necessarily something that you would normally do, so then you have the guilt and shame of all of these things. So when you add guilt and shame, you compound it, and then you add coercion and
it's just too much.
It's too much.
For
your average teen to figure out. And and if people are already in trauma, so like a divorce, or they've just moved somewhere, or things that are big trauma activities in people's lives,
right,
to say to them, oh well, you should have known better, is great. 20 years down the line, not helpful now.
Right.
And so, for me, finding therapists with trauma-informed care capabilities was really important in my recovery. Being able to empower myself by helping other people through this is huge too, because organizations like mine didn't exist for me, right? I was blessed to have a church family, to have, people in my life that could help me, but not everybody has that,
right?
And not everybody, I had grandparents and people who genuinely loved me and wanted to accept me as I was, and even in those broken states. But not everybody has that.
Right. So I want to talk about how you were able to get out of that, and then how you decided that you wanted to start a foundation that would help people like you.
Yeah. So for me, a pretty much breaking point was I was so deeply involved, and then I had tried to get out, and they beat me really badly, and I ended up telling my family that I'd been mugged, and going back to my sort of hometown and telling my church about that, and then they sort of hid me, and literally I went to live with my high school principal, and just was really taken care of, right, and given support, and thank God for my church family, and thank God for my principal and other people who just came around me.
That's awesome.
Right, so that I could rebuild from scratch, and our pastor's wife who counseled me, and but it still took me over 10 years to get to a place that I felt safe again, right? And I had a lot of guilt and shame to work through. I had a lot of PTSD to work through, and anger, right?
Of course.
I had to process through the forgiveness stage of things, and I thank God that I had God, because I don't think I could have forgiven myself if I didn't feel forgiven.
Yes, that's amazing.
So that was huge. I worked on the back end of human trafficking for a long time, behind the scenes, finding stuff online and helping organizations from behind. And for me, at the time, it was enough. When we moved back to the States, so we had been working on a project in 13 Spanish-speaking countries to stop child trafficking in Europe, and sort of the funding was starting to dry up, and my daughter wanted to come back and do high school here in the U.S. She's like, I want a real American high school experience, Mom. Okay. And so we came back, and we started to volunteer at Willow Creek Community Church, and we were like, crap, there's this huge gap, right? So we can rescue them, but then what?
Right.
And so we decided that, God had given me a vision a long time ago to have a house and have a way of helping girls get an education, because I feel that education's a thing that no one can take from you.
Absolutely.
You can rebuild
100% agree
every
with that.
time, right? So even if they're having the recidivism loops, if each time they come out, we get them one notch higher in their education. So if they were 12 when it happened, and they come to us the first time, we get them through the GD, and then maybe through a CNA or some other vocational training program, and then into college, and then through a college degree, and then
That's awesome.
Then we can little by little help them to get to a point that they can be out permanently, right? So I always felt like this was a vision that needed to be put into action.
Of course.
But I'm like, but God, I can't do this. I don't know how. That's a lot. We don't have any money. How are we going to do this?
Usually that's how the best visions start. They always start like that. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I know you want me to do this, so I guess we're going to just have to make it work.
And that's what we did. We just started small. And our first year, we said, if we just save one girl. So literally, I got my small group together, and we're like, y'all the board.
We're all going to do this.
We're all going to do this. And they went, okay, Sam.
Okay, we're going to do it. How? But we're going to figure it out.
We're going to figure it out. And we said the first year, if we get one girl it'd be awesome, right? And so we got 4 the first year.
Awesome.
So we were just like, oh my God, I don't know how we're gonna do this. So everyone's like, and it just grew exponentially.
Wow.
To this year, we've rescued over 200 women.
That's so amazing.
And we're like, okay, but somehow God provides. You know what I mean?
course.
Like we somehow, like folks like you just come out of the woodwork and bring something forth that just helps. And it's that incremental help from everyone that's just making it possible.
That's so awesome.
And it's huge because in this area we have such a demand for a need for our services that we're always busy, and that's the thing. So
and which is good. It's good that you're constantly busy saving women and giving them these opportunities. And I think for Marcia and I, as owners of this gym, we're very faithful as well, and we always believe in, as long as we keep giving back, we will keep being blessed. And
absolutely,
and that's what we just try to do every single day that we're here, is we just try to give back as much as we possibly can, whether it's to our women, to our community, to people like you, whatever we can do, because we always know that we'll be blessed as long as we just keep giving, no matter how much that is. So it's been so amazing to be able to do this, and I think that I'm so glad we got you here to talk about this, because like I said before, it is a tough topic to talk about.
It is.
But it is so important. And to know that you've saved over 200, how long have you guys been in as an organization? How long?
So we actually only became a 501c3 in 2015.
Wow, so 3 years.
3 years,
3 years you've been able to save 200 women.
No, that was just 2018.
That was just 2018.
Just 2018.
Oh my
How many
God.
pulled off the street just in 2018.
Wow, that's so
I think
great.
I had to count for a grant the other day, and it's 412 total.
Wow, that's got to make you feel so amazing.
So it's pretty crazy. You know what would make me feel more amazing is if we had a higher rate of success across, because it's about 20%.
Okay.
And, we'd love to see that number be higher. But I'm thankful that I feel like, sometimes you're just supposed to be that seed for that day.
Absolutely.
Right? And sometimes the harvest isn't for us.
Exactly.
But we pray that, we're sowing the whole
well,
time.
you definitely are. I definitely believe that even if you get them there for one time, even if they don't come back for another year, they're always going to come back because they'll remember that thing that you did for them, or that thing that you taught them, or what you gave them, or how you made them feel. And in those moments of need, they're going to think of you.
No, that's why I was late this morning, because literally somebody who we'd had before had called the hotline this morning and said she'd been sleeping outside for 3 weeks, and someone's after her and she needs help, and I'm like, okay, well,
we gotta go.
Coming.
We're coming
for you.
Yep.
We'll meet you at this hospital, and and it happens a lot that because exactly what you said, like she remembered that there was no judgment, just help.
Just call.
You're right.
Yep.
And
call.
We've always told her, just call. And I would say that to any woman, if you know anybody who you feel is in trouble, or if you are in trouble yourself, just call. Like, even if we're not the organization that's the right one to help you, maybe you're stuck in domestic violence, maybe you've got other issues, maybe you need something that isn't necessarily our ability to provide, we have a great network and we're a great resource. So call our hotline anyway.
That was the next thing I was going to ask you. So if somebody who's watching this, if there is a woman or somebody who's watching this who is going through something, whether it's trafficking, domestic violence, depression, suicidal thoughts, where can they get a hold of you so that they can get the help?
They can call our 24-hour hotline on 1-833-4-NEW-DAY.
Okay.
Right?
And we'll put that on the screen too, so that's on there.
We would be happy to help.
Okay.
Right?
Good.
The phone is answered not necessarily by me, but by somebody 24 hours a day. If you get our answering service, it's sent immediately to someone, so you'll get a call back right away. And make sure that you know that we're here for you, whatever your needs are. We're totally
There's
here.
no judgment, no nothing. It's just you're
and
there
like
with
I said,
open arms.
If it's not trafficking and it's something else, we have resources and partners that we can help you.
That you can pass
work with.
along too. That's awesome. Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience today, Sam?
If you enjoy empowering women and teenage girls, we would love to see more volunteers in the area. We'd love to, we need everything from people to put up flyers in the local coffee shops to, if you're a therapist and want to provide hours. I mean, we have like the full gamut. So if there's something that y'all want to do, that'd be amazing. And, we'd thank you so much
Yes,
for what you guys did checking in here. It's huge. Thank you.
It's been such an honor to be able to do this for you guys over the last month, and I hope that we can partner with you guys again in the future, because like I said, our missions are so very similar in completely different arenas, but in similarities of empowering women to just really be that strong person that they were born and bred to be. And I think that I'm so glad that I got to sit down and talk with you today, and I'm so glad that we got to do this, because I really do believe that even if one person sees this podcast and calls, we'll have done our job.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's how I feel.
And it's happened so many times. Like literally one time we were on WGN and my husband and I didn't even make it to the car before the call came in.
That's so awesome.
So
yes.
sometimes
I'm hoping that happens with us too.
We will definitely let you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sam, for being on the show today. It was such a pleasure having you. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us today. If you like this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel or find our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever your favorite places to listen to podcasts might be. And if you really liked this episode, please leave a review for us on iTunes. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.